What's up, guys? So, unless you have fat stacks of cash or your uncle is Scrooge McDuck, getting an education is going to cost a lot of money. I've been doing a little research. These are like approximate numbers, they might not be spot on, but the average undergraduate has a debt around $30,000. That's pretty crazy. If you're thinking about going to medical school after that, that can be an additional couple $100,000. The average medical school student right now has about $190,000 of debt when they graduate, and that's only going to be increasing into the future. Tuition in education has risen above inflation for the past years. Paying for school is going to be a big part of really getting any kind of education, really. Debt's like this ugly beast. But if you're smart about it, it can be worth it if you're getting a good education, finishing what you start, getting a job that can help you pay it back. I'll link some of the websites that I found some of this information on down below in the description, so check that out if you want some more resources or some of the things that I looked at to help you get this information. There's a lot of options actually out there to help pay for medical school, because the average cost for medical school is public schools. Tuitions are around $32,000 a year. Private schools is around $50,000+ a year. So that might be a factor of whether you want to go to public school, private school. Texas, on the other hand, is just cheap in general. Texas schools generally are a ton cheaper than other schools in other states. Even though tuition is really expensive, you also have to factor in living expensive. Generally, the best advice is don't live like a doctor when you're in medical school, because that's just gonna hose you over, man. If you have really good GPA, MCAT coming in, some schools will offer you a scholarship. If you're interested in scholarships, I would research that, just individual schools. A lot of people do loans. If you're getting a medical education, then you're gonna get loan offers from everybody. Everybody wants to lend you money for some reason. I don't know what it is. But if they know you're going to medical school, then they are free with their money. So make sure you pick and choose who you get loans from if you go that route to make sure that you're getting the best deal. Not all loans are created equal. Some programs, they pay your tuition for you. So MD, PhD routes. So if you're going to go into research, most schools will pay for your school. They don't tuition, room board, but generally you'll be a researcher if you go the MD, PhD route. Very competitive. If that's what you want to do, make sure that you're top-notch grades and everything. Kind of similar to the medical scientist training program. Kind of the same thing. They'll pay for tuition, train you to be a scientist. I honestly don't know a whole lot about that one. That's also an option if you're thinking about that. It's called the Medical Scientist Training Program. The other way to pay for medical school, and this is through service obligation programs. So this is when you commit to a program or an organization that you will work for them a certain amount of years after you're done with medical school as a doctor, and they will pay for a certain amount of your medical school. One of them is called Public Service Loan Forgiveness. So this is when, as a doctor, usually a primary care physician, you go into an underserved community or a underserved demographic. When you pay usually 120 payments, monthly payments on time on your loan, after 120 payments, they'll pay it back for you. Another option is if you want to join the military. So it's called the Health Professional Scholarship Program. For every year that they pay for your school, you serve a year in the military. This is the one I'm leaning towards too. All the doctors I've known in the military have actually really enjoyed it. But then again, all the doctors that I've known in the military are the ones that stick around because they enjoy it. So I haven't really talked to anyone that have gone out after their service obligation was done because they wanted to do something else. I'm sure there's plenty of those out there. So there's all sorts of programs that will pay for you to work as a primary care physician or as a physician in an underserved area. I know a doctor who's working in a small town in Colorado right now, actually, because he's on one of these programs. He works for the tiny local hospital there, and after so many years, they're going to pay off his debt for him. You know, if you don't mind doing that, I think it's a good option. That scholarship is actually called the National Health Service Corps Scholarship. So my biggest advice about paying for medical school is do not use a credit card to pay for medical school. That will be the dumbest thing that you could possibly do. And really, everyone has their own advice about how to pay for medical school. These are just some things that I've researched about how to pay for medical school. Figuring out how you're going to pay for it is a big deal. Good luck.